Okay. Hi guys, my name is Musonda and I did my project my English assignment on what's it called? Oh, education in Uglies. Yeah, yeah. Like that was my issue, education. So education, like the issue is like any problem, concern, or challenge related to the field of education, particularly in its various aspects like teaching, learning, and the overall educational system. Uglies is a book set in a futuristic world where everyone is considered ugly until they take this pretty cosmetic surgery at 16. Uh, and how education is relevant to uglies, because in the ugly society, they use education to shape the identities of students, teaching them to prioritize appearance and conformity over individuality and critical thinking. So the plot, the plot for Uglies. Um, so I picked plot, character, and what's it called? Conflict as my three. What they called? I did them as my three. That's my three examples. That's my three examples here. So for plot, I did, but we're friends, right? So like the quote for the one I put for plot was, "But we're friends, right?" Paris sighed, dabbing a brown stain. Sure, forever, and sure, forever in 3 months. And I found that in it was page 20, and the chapter was best friends forever. Yeah, so that was the plot that I picked, and the reason why that plot is connected to education is students may form friendships for temporary reasons like shared classes or projects that don't translate into long-term bonds. And like for in the Uglies case, like because of the whole system of them being like them being ugly, and then like they have to like at 16 they have to like separate and take the surgery, and they might not find each other again, you know. So yeah, that's why like it's not like a long-term bond. And like the next card I picked for plot was, "This whole game is just to make us hate ourselves." And now you can find that quote in page 20, wait no, page 44, and the chapter is facing the future. It's like this is what Shay is telling Tally. Yeah, this whole game is this whole game is just to make us hate ourselves. And the reason why that quote is connected to um education is it raises concerns about the potentially negative impact of education on a student's self-esteem and sense of worth. So technically, uh, it raises concerns about the potentially negative impact of education. So technically, the reason why this is connected to education is that when you're like in a classroom, like it lowers your self-esteem because like there are people that are better than you in the class. So that's why the students have negativity, and they start like they think that they're not worth that much because there are other people that are better than them in the classroom. So that's why this is like connected to education. Okay, it's like, and then like when they grow up, like they get more negative. They know that there's always gonna be someone better than you. Stuff like yeah. Okay, so the next my next example, which is character. I picked this one because like I picked the character because like it closely connected me to like the education thingy. So yeah. Okay. Character. Oh yeah. Quotes. Okay, so Dr. Kibble. Okay. So this my first quote that I picked for this slide was Dr. Cable lifted a finger and a special appeared at her side. And the reason, and you can find that quote in page 308, and the chapter is in case of damage. So the reason why this quote is connected to education is in essence the quote uses a fractistical element to highlight the power and impact of a teacher's actions on a student's learning journey. It's technically Dr. Cable she's like the head of education. It's like she's like the head of the government, so she controls what's in the education. So she's technically a teacher. So like she controls like the classrooms and what they learn and stuff. So she could be like, putting false information, all that stuff. Yeah, that's why she controls the specials afterwards. Yeah. Isn't she? Is it? And so the second quote I picked was, "Isn't she ugly?" Someone asked from the edge of the crowd. And then you can find that quote on page 24, and the chapter is Shay. And the reason why this quote is connected to education is the uglies are deliberately kept from higher education because they are considered ugly and therefore not fit for it. So technically, if you don't become a pretty and under Dr. Cable's control, you don't go any further into your educational studies. So like, when you turn 16, it's either you take the surgery and like live a good life, or you don't get the surgery and you become like poor, like broke on the street because like you don't have education or that stuff, and you live in Uglyfield forever. So yeah. Then our conflict was the third example that I picked. Yeah. So my older friends, the ones. Oh, so this is like the yeah conflict. So conflict. My older friends. Where did I get this one from? My older friends. Here we go. My older friends. My older friends, the ones I used to hang out with before I met you. Not all of them would wound up pretty. So this is what Shay said to Sally, yeah. And it was page 83, chapter the last trick. Yeah. So the reason why that plot is the reason why that quote is related to education is because in essence the sentence is more about the changes in social status, social expectations, and the impacts of those changes on personal relationships. It's like in school, you are like the more you grow in the education system, like the more you understand it, like the more you know what's going around, and like sometimes you will make long-term relationships, sometimes you make short-term relationships. Like that's what this one means here. And then the last quote I picked for conflict was uglies uglies in uh uglies in Tally's own dorm treated her like a walking disease. So you can find that in page 120, and the chapter is Paris. So the reason why that quote is connected to education is the ugly dorms and the education within them are a key part of the cycle of conformity in the uglies world. So like, if you are ugly, it doesn't matter. Like you're like rejected out of the society. Like you're not considered into the society. Like you're like a you're like a dirty insect. You're like no one cares about you. Yeah. Until you get the pretty surgery. But like if you don't take it then you're considered ugly forever. So the 2025 education issue that I picked was education obviously. Oh yeah, did I say that? Okay. The 2025 education issue. Uh so I wrote in 2025 one of the most pressing education matters is that of the national teacher shortage and workforce attrition. This is also compounded by decreasing enrollments in teaching courses and a high dropout rate. One other major development for educators is focusing on standards based education. That is, teachers are busy making sure that curricula are aligned with grade level expectations and helping students to achieve those standards. Moreover, institutions of higher learning are navigating a charged environment with new risks such as cyber threats and the transformative effect of AI driven tools. So technically, 2025 is like a whole new year because, like, well, ever since 2020, AI has been around. Like, kids have been using it, and like they haven't been learning anything because of they've been using AI, and AI has been doing it for them. But like the thing about AI is that it gives you false information sometimes. Like you might not see it, but like it gives you false information sometimes. Also, teachers are using like they're not using new methods to teach. They're using like the same methods that they've used 10 years ago. Like they're not making new methods of teaching. Um, yeah, and like teachers expect more from you and all that. So like the education system needs like the issue needs to be like changed. Yeah, and yeah, that's my presentation. That's everything. See you guys later.